I desired a baby. First of all, I wanted to prove that I can carry a child to myself.
Full term.
Yeah. But initially, when Zoe passed, I remember we took some time out of town where I tried to drink away my sorrow. But every time I drink, I'd throw up. And I like being raw about these things because some of us like pretending that we haven't done these things. I've done them. I tried drinking because I was thinking I need to stop thinking to numb this thing. But guess what? The numbness, the feeling comes back.
Saseni Mkofiti, welcome for Cele's Reflection. I am your host, Celeste Ndinda. And before I forget, it's a new month, so happy new month to all of you guys. I hope you're excited for August. We have August, September, October, November, and 2026 is... It is always a pleasure. I always feel so good every time I get to sit here now Mwongela, and I even feel happy. I'm even fuller. Like I feel like a sense of fulfillment when I have a guest on set. Because najuanga tukiwa na guest on set, we won't walk out the same way we entered. Yeah, personally, I never leave here the same way I came in every time I have a guest on set. So today is that day when we have a guest on set, and I am so happy. I can't wait to hear what you have for us. Her name is Jean. Karibu sana to our show.
Thank you.
And thank you for finding time to come to our show. So I'd love you to maybe introduce yourself briefly. Just introduce yourself.
Okay.
Then we can, yeah.
Okay, yes. My name is Jean Mwongela. And if I was to describe who I am now, is that I'm a woman who's been entrusted with a world of words, be it written or spoken. And to break that down is... my background is media.
Oh, wow.
Been out of the game for quite some time. I also was in the events industry, and I thank God for all those experiences. But beyond that, I am a wife, I am a mother, and I am a daughter, number one. And I say it very boldly, of the Most High God. And I'm really grateful to be here because it's clearly time to tell my story, which I can't wait to get into with you.
Tell me a little bit about Jean growing up. Like, how are you? Where were you born? How a small background about her.
Okay, born and raised in Nairobi. My second name is Wanja. I grew up in South B. And interestingly, I'm remembering we lived on a road called Uwanja Road. So I used to think like I ran this hood.
Oh, you're called Wanja, then Mwongela?
Yes.
Okay.
Jean Wanja was Mashimba before I got married. Now Mwongela, which is my husband's name.
Okay.
So yes, born and raised in Nairobi. Went to quite a few primary schools before being taken to boarding school in Nyeri.
At what age?
Class 6.
We are many.
Tuko wengi, yes.
Me class 5.
I could not wait actually to get to boarding school,
Me
but it's
too.
because I was following a girl who I'd always looked up to. So nilimfuata Nyeri, and then I got a plus in that. I was very chubby growing up. I lost weight in boarding school, and I loved it.
Was it because of the food or the life?
I think I was just a chubby child. I don't know. Maybe I loved food.
Like, why did you lose weight in boarding school?
Oh, in boarding, there's no access to
Life.
fridge,
Okay,
you know?
okay.
And I think just even the activity, and it was just a shift in my journey because it really grew me up.
Okay.
Yeah, so boarding school, Nyeri was amongst the top of my class that time, 6 or 7 in KCP. Ended up in high school, Kenya High.
Wow.
Yes. Interestingly, did not finish there. I did not settle well there. Ended up in Githurai, in a school called St. Lucy's Kiriri. Yep. But interestingly, that's where I thrived. And that's where I found my voice in writing, in speech, in leadership. Then from there, went to Daystar University, where
From
I studied.
you did your...
I did my KCSE
In
in
Githurai.
Githurai
I
at
grew up in
Central.
Githurai.
Oh, really? I loved that school. I think I always thrived in smaller communities. So my school in Nyeri Primary was small. Then I went to Kenya High where it was everyone, so many girls. And for some reason, I didn't settle.
Okay.
And after back and forth with my parents, eventually went to Kiriri, where my mom used to crack a joke and say that it's like the evil gene was removed when I went to Kiriri and I settled and, there was something about being in that space. It's where I truly believe I was needed and I grew. Then got my grades and went to Daystar University. I thought I was going to be a lawyer, let me put it in, but I didn't get the grade. How I got to Daystar, honestly, I can't remember, but my dad was involved. And my grade was enough to do communications. I wasn't sure I'd end up in the media space. But looking back, it was where I was supposed to be because my mom always used to call me Madam 200 words per minute. I loved stories. I loved talking. So went into, media and marketing, left Daystar, got into the media space, worked at Royal Media Services as an intern for some time, had a short stint at Nation at some point, then was part of the crew that started K24. We were those who
The
started.
pioneers.
We were the pioneers of K24. Trained by...
News anchor or behind the scenes?
I loved being behind the scenes, and it was because I liked hiding. I was never confident in my frame. For some reason, I was just never confident, and I also broke out. My skin broke out at quite a young age. So that was not the look to be seen, or so I thought. So went into K24, loved the journey. I was back, behind production, but I was also a reporter, and a strong one at that. Eventually was thrust onto TV and became an anchor, which I wanted to fight. But in 3 days, Cele, I had to understand makeup, track and sew.
Auto cue.
I was a producer, so I knew how it worked, but I guided other anchors. One Sunday I check in and I was told, we need a new anchor. You start reading news on Wednesday. I remember looking at my boss and thinking, get out of here.
Are you
I'm
mad?
not doing. And I said no. And my boss was, shout out to him, Eric Lativ. Really
wow.
supportive, yes. Really, really supportive. And we also had Jeff Koinange in the back of the, behind the scenes. So Latif followed me to the production suite and told me, by the way, Jean, I'm not asking. It has been decided from the top. You start reading news on Wednesday. Cele, I'm not sure who did production that day, running orders and everything, but somehow news went on time. And on Monday, my parents, of course, were excited. I got my first suit, got my first makeup kit, my first formal handbag. And on Wednesday, lunchtime bulletin, I was reading news, looking very surprised on air because, first of all, I didn't know how to draw these things.
There was no makeup
There
artist?
was no makeup artist, yeah. So learned on the go. It was tough, but looking back, I thank God for that journey because it forced me to come out of a shell. I didn't realize I was gifted in speech. I also didn't realize that I would be a face that would encourage some. Yes, there were those who, with these numbers that you say, give us your feedback, what.
Yeah.
There were those who were not very for my frame. Yeah. I did not look the part to some. Yeah. But there were those who would write in and say, thank you for showing my daughter that even there are different women who can read news. There are different women who can be in front of the camera. And so I held on to that. But I confess, internally, there was still this shaky girl. Outside, I could put on the show. But internally, I was shaking.
Okay. Okay.
So that's mainstream media. How long was I there? I left mainstream media we had work that even got to CNN. Yes, we had a production called Nairobi Matters, which was different. The type of news we were trying to do with K24 from the beginning, and we need that again in our market, is some positive news. There are good news in our land. There are good stories. There is good news and there are good stories. So Nairobi Matters used to go out into Nairobi and compare the Karens to the Kawangwares to show both sides of the divide, what's the issue, and then would try take it back into government to put them to task, and it did very well and ended up winning a CNN award in the environmental category, which I was really grateful for and being part of that team. But thereafter, 2009 is when we got the award. It's the same year I got married. To a man who I met online. That's another story.
Like online, a dating app or just Facebook?
No, I was bored at work. Before I joined K24, I was working at, it was a CNN bureau for East Africa. And we also did films. It was called Vaviant. Vaviant, I can't remember the full name, but it was Vaviant. Not Vaviant, sorry, I'm mixing it. Vivid Features. Scratch that. Not Vaviant, Vivid Features. And I was online. And then the days for High Five. Do you remember High Five? I know we're from the same time. But there was MySpace at some point.
I think I remember
There.
MySpace.
Then there was High Five before Facebook. So
Okay, yeah, I remember High
Remember
Five.
High Five?
Yeah, I remember High Five.
Yeah. So High Five is where my husband searched, and I was amongst the many that showed up. The one who ignored him, he tried a few times, and then eventually we started a conversation for over a year online. It was a safe space. I was not dating. He was not dating. We're just friends. And then I covered the post-election. He got to know when I shifted into mainstream media. He followed me. I was in media when the post-election violence happened in 2007, 2008. 2000? Yes, the post-election violence. That season was, God loves this country. It was a mess. You don't go into media at least I did not go into media thinking I'd start covering bodies very, and seeing the country almost falling apart. There's a lot as media stations that we chose not to show the nation for the sake of this nation. And there was wisdom behind it. And I thank God that he removed us from that space. And I think it was a wake-up call to understand just how dark we can be as people. So out of the post-election violence, 2009, now 8 January, is when my pen pal were High Five and Facebook and also inboxing on Yahoo Mail, yes? We chose to meet it was January 21st, 2008, and I met him.
Wow, you remember even the
I
dates.
remember the date. I'm very good with numbers, faces, places, very pictorial in my mind. I tend to hold on to them. Lakini majina, I have to be reminded.
Okay.
So that's when we met, but we did not meet with the intention of dating one day. But as God would have it, the next year, November 21st, we were walking down the aisle. So there were no breaks.
Dating.
We had dated via a lot of back and forth. He knew me via writing.
And
I
he knew
knew
you
me
via TV.
and via TV.
Okay.
Oh, and let me crack a joke. He never thought he'd ever date a media personality. Kuna hii story that media people girls were a lot of trouble.
Yeah, because they are all being seen by everyone.
Yes, yes. There was not. We didn't have a good name, if I can put it that way.
Okay.
But I guess I was the name that he was supposed to marry, and so we got married November 21st. And along the way, that you have a script. So tulikuwa na script. We'll have 2 years of honeymoon phase. And then get a child, which happened, which is part of the story I tell in the book that we'll speak about at a point.
Let me ask. Are you an only kid?
No.
I haven't heard you mention about...
Oh, my sister.
Yeah, is there a big age gap? Because I expected maybe you something about your siblings while growing up.
Oh, we're only two.
You're only two?
We're only two. I have a younger sister.
Okay.
She's 3 years younger.
Okay.
We're very different. Okay. And I think we boarding school, I enjoyed boarding school. We're in boarding school at a point, but at a point now we separated because I left.
Okay.
And something happened there in terms of connection. We kind of used to meet each other during halftime. If we by chance meet our dates,
yeah, I remember, merge. There's tuition, there's what, there's, yeah.
So every time we'd meet, it's like, oh, hi, how are you? It's nice to meet
Strangers.
you again. Yeah, it was so weird. But we got closer once we both left high school. Yeah, Tiffany. Yeah, so I do have a younger sister.
Okay, okay, So you're married, 2 years honeymoon phase. Did it go as expected?
Oh, did it go? Oh, the marriage?
Yeah, no, the 2 years honeymoon. No, that's where we were before I cut you short.
Oh, okay. The honeymoon phase. First of all, was it honeymoon?
Why?
Marriage can shock you. I think I had like many other things growing up, I had a script. It's not written, but iko pahali,
yeah,
that you'll get married and everything will be rosy. I mean, we were tested from the get-go, from the honeymoon where we had people challenging our marriage. Why did you marry her? She was not the one.
Are you still on TV this time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So the challenging is from family at home?
No,
or it's from...
no. out people in
Even social media?
Yeah.
Oh, your wedding was publicly?
Yes,
Okay.
it was publicly the show that, what was it called?
Wedding
the
show?
wedding show.
Okay.
Yes, wedding show. And also because I was what they call a public figure.
Oh, yeah.
You know, in
Yeah,
fact, we
yeah,
were told
yeah.
once you're on TV, just know you no longer belong to yourself.
Yeah, we own you.
Yeah, I was like, oh man. So I didn't realize just what that would take in terms of you're just trying to live your life, but there were people who are not everyone is happy for you. People you don't even know. So that was shaky as well, and more so because if you're not secure in who you are, it can shake you. I need to mention that along my childhood, my parents separated at a point, and which ended in divorce. So that set what's the word? A picture of marriage. It wasn't a good one. I did not want to get married. This man was sent via internet, but I honestly believe, I know God sent him. I was not looking for marriage.
You were scared, you had fear?
I was scared. Yes.
Okay.
Is it, the picture I'd been given of marriage did not leave much to desire, if I can put it that way.
At what age did your parents separate?
Class 6, 7. Class 6, 7.
And that's when you went to boarding?
Yes. Actually, boarding school helped me run away from that.
Okay.
Yeah. In hindsight, I did not see it then, but I needed a space to just be separated from that. And I think it was what was used to help me.
And you said it's you who wanted to go to boarding. It's not like your parents.
Yes.
So could it be it was one of the things that just take me to boarding school? Was there anything you were seeing you were running away from?
The running away, maybe that wasn't, no, the main thing to go to boarding school was because there was a girl I was following who had grown up with. But in hindsight, because sometimes you have to pause to look back on where you do certain things. As I reflected, I was like, yeah, it could have been part of running away. But at the same time, also my parents trying to protect me from what was going on at home. So marriage wasn't something I fancied. I wanted to be an independent, single, to end the CNN, maju.
Career led.
Family and all that were not really a desire. I wanted to, I don't know, travel the world and all that,
and
thinking
kids?
that marriage would... No, kids were nowhere in the periphery.
Okay.
Honestly pausing, I know that God just... Ni kama alinipack tu. He just put me and said, no, you'll get married here. Now you're going to have a child here. Then you'll have two more. Because I need your story to tell a certain story. Because those were not desires. So I realized even the scripts that some of us have, there are those who desire marriage and never enter it. There are those who don't desire marriage, then they enter it. There are those who are in it now, they want to come out. There are those who are out of it, they want to come in. And I'm like, do you know, nothing will ever satisfy if you're not, first of all, satisfied in who you are as an individual. So even after I got into marriage, those first 2 years, the honeymoon, had a lot of breaking moments, definitive moments, which also taught me to be... I was very suspicious of my husband, if I can put it that way. Yeah. Because the picture I've had of men and all that, again, because of culture, not because of who the person is.
Yeah.
So you define everyone because of one bad experience.
Generalize all of them.
Which is not how it should be. Each of us has an individual walk. God has created each person very uniquely, and you need to define them by what he says, regardless of what you're seeing about the person in the moment. So I thank God that God sent me. Honestly, I know my husband was sent by God. He's a good man. And we've grown together. He's been very patient with me. He's allowed me to throw my tantrums and, because of my background with a broken home, if I can call it that. And he was from more of a stable side. As much as I didn't meet my father-in-law, he'd passed. He was very patient with me and allowed me to find myself. So I did every course you could think of. I did the alabastrons. I did pathways to I don't know what. I did just trying to find myself. So the first 2 years were, let me call them, they were testy. They were very beautiful moments, but there were also many moments where I wondered, how did I even get into this thing? Yeah.
Then after, okay. The first 2 years, then what happened next? Is it now?
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
So 2 years in.
Wait.
Waiting.
Yeah, so after the first 2 years,
we chose now to have a child.
Less chaos, like less... like the honeymoon, did it become easier? Like now are things easier after trying all those things? Did things become easier? Like now you are ready to get a kid? you had settled in your marriage. Now can we move to the next level of having a baby, or a baby just came?
No. What happened is the mask fell off somewhere along those 2 years. I entered marriage. I didn't realize I'd entered marriage with the pressure of wanting to prove that there's a marriage in my family that can work out. Okay?
To prove to
To
to the world.
Yes. And I was also the first in my circle of friends. I always seem to be the first in a lot of things. So first in the circle of friends, I'm the first child, I'm the first grandchild, first cousin, first. So there was this
Okay.
pressure, even without knowing it was there. When I stopped faking it and started being very honest to this man, but it came through a broken out, like an outburst. And I realized he didn't run away and he was willing to listen. And I started being more honest about, I fear this, and this is where I'm coming from. And it took one time when those are the very open, naked conversation, let me call it that way, with him, where masks came off. And that honesty, and if I could bring scripture into it, took me back to in the beginning when God created man and woman. Because I had a few questions. I was like, Adam and Eve was said to be naked and unashamed, not ashamed. Forget the nudity. That means there was an openness between the two of them. There was nothing that was hidden between the two of them. If we look at marriages in this day and age, those who are married in church or not, or whatever marriage looks like, there is not much of that.
Yeah, there's
it's
no
very rare.
openness, yeah.
There's no openness. So what happens is when the truth finally comes out, either one party is hurt, both parties are hurt, the children are already in the mix, they get hurt, families break up. And I'm like, what would it look like if we got people in the marriage space who go back to that picture? And I'm not saying it's easy, but I'm also declaring that it's not impossible.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Because God had an intention when he brought that woman and said that these two are going to be in my image and likeness. So another game changer for my husband and I has been our back. Let me call it, he was more, is that the word? So I loved God, but I was also a lover of the world, if I can put it that way. I was a party girl. He was the church boy, worship leader.
Okay.
So even when we came together, at the back of my mind, now I was also trying to act in the way that I thought the church has defined a woman should be. So I was never Jean. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I wasn't.
You had worn a face.
Completely. So at work, I am one person. In the house, I am one person. On Sunday, I'm
You're
another
another
person.
person.
With my family, I'm one person. With his family, I'm another person. These 5 roles are quite exhausting.
Yeah,
right?
you'll get tired at some point.
You'll get tired at a certain point. So in the 2 years, there was an openness that started, but the game changer came when we got our first child. That's when masks broke completely. Because now there's something about a child coming and being, the pain we went through because the child passed on. That was the thing that shifted both of us as individuals first, because I had to find who I was as Jean in God. Why was I created? Why am I here? Why do I fake it? What is this internal pressure I have to look a certain way? What are the things that have defined me that were never supposed to define me from the very beginning? But it took a child and losing that child to find that Jean. And for him, that's his story to tell. He's also been on that journey.
Was it hard to get a baby? Like, it was just as we expect, you get married, you go 3 years, then now you can get a baby. Was your journey as smooth?
A textbook, in was it home science that we did in 844?
You get married.
Yeah, there was
you
this picture where there's a church, then there's a woman with a big stomach, and then a baby. So I thought then happily after, because that's how we think life is supposed to be. We're not told about the in-betweens. So up to the point of the child coming, when we chose to have the child, I got pregnant immediately.
Okay.
We did not struggle, and even with the other two, that's just been our story. We've conceived very quickly.
Okay.
So the pregnancy came, and I thought it was going to go according to book. But in the 6th month, in the 6th month, I went into preterm labor. And I'm one of those women who has no labor pain. So I'm walking around and my cervix is opening and I'm having contractions and I feel nothing. I have no pain.
From month 1 to month 6, you're okay?
Oh, I had the nausea. I had all the other things.
Normal,
side effects.
Okay.
So by the 6th month, I remember I just finished a shoot and...
Oh, you're still working?
I'm
you're
still working.
Broadcasting?
Yeah,
okay.
I'd left mainstream media, but I was still in the media space.
Events now?
No, both media and events. So I would do media on contract. I had different shows, a cooking show on KBC, a gospel talent show, and also KBC. So I was still out there and writing scripts and checking scripts. And then I was also running the events company that had started with my husband. So life was just, so I was coming home and all I felt was tired. I felt very tired and hot. I was like, I think I've worked very hard today. So I went home and I rested. Then I called my gynecologists need to listen to their patients more. Because this one in particular, the only way I can put it was his ego got in the way. Because how he put it was, it's your first pregnancy.
He dismissed
He dismissed. I told him
feelings.
something, that thing we call the sixth sense? It's not the sixth sense. It's the Holy Spirit trying to alert you. There's something is amiss. Inquire, find out what's going on. So I called him and he told me, no, it's your first pregnancy. You're fine.
How are you feeling? The heat, the tiredness?
The tiredness. And then that voice, there was an internal question. Am I okay? Is there something? Then I didn't realize I was starting to, I'd already passed what's called a mucus plug.
So you were dilating?
Yeah. But I can't even tell at what point it happened.
Because it's your first baby.
It's my first baby. So I just thought it's extra, discharge and stuff like that.
Week 28,
24? No, 25. 25. And I remember it was a Friday. And I remember very vividly because Saturday we had a class in church with my husband. And after class, in between class, I felt funny.
So you slept on Friday?
I slept
Saturday?
and woke up, went to the class. And when I checked into the bathroom, I saw a bit of blood, and I was like, now something isn't right. So I remember rushing back to Mark, my husband, and we rushed to the clinic because I called him, he wasn't answering. So I called the landline. And that's when the nurse had just come. So when I went in, I didn't even wait for the queue. These gynecology queues can be. I went straight to the door. I stood outside, and when the woman was inside, came out, I went straight in. And I told that doctor, something is not right. Something feels off. And he said, okay, now let's just check you to make sure that you're fine. So I did the routine thing that we do as women, who are pregnant. I went and I was told to take out what I needed to take off. And as he checked me, I'll never forget, he just said, this is not good. And then he walked out. And I remember Mark and I wondering what's going on. I remember I was holding I had one of those long African dresses. I remember I came out, I think because of the shock, I was still holding it up. And I walked out and asked him, what do you mean it's not good? And so you're writing something, you're 3 centimeters, almost 4 centimeters dilated. Then I said, no, I'm not, because I was waiting for pain. All these movies that we've watched,
contraception.
Ouch.
5 seconds apart.
So I'm wondering, the pain hasn't come, water has not broken, because that's what I'd known.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what do you mean? He says, no, now this is not good. You're in preterm labor. I'd never heard of the term. He said, you need to be rushed to the hospital. We're calling you an ambulance. And he told me to go sit outside and wait. Sit outside. I need to highlight that. Sit. I'm in preterm labor. Preterm labor because I went into reading a lot about it once we lost this child. You should not be sitting. Immediately should have been down, legs up. I went and I sat because that's what I was told to do by my doctor.
Okay.
And I sat there and Mark was pacing, he was calling our parents. Then the next thing, an ambulance came. The nurse came and asked me, the ambulance attendant, why are you seated? They put me on a stretcher. I'm thinking, I'm just obeying what I've been told.
By the doctor.
I did not know better. And I was rushed out to the ambulance and I was taken to a main hospital. I'll just call them a main hospital. They changed me. They put in a line. And then they tell us to pay an amount, was it at the time, about 70,000 shillings before they can administer the medication to stop contractions.
That you're not even feeling.
That I'm not feeling. But beyond that, Cele, we didn't have that money. So why have you undressed me, changed me, put a line in me?
Admitted
and
me?
Then ask for money. No, even admission, bado. I was in the casualty.
Okay, you should make a line.
I'm already your patient. Gown. I'm in the gown already. And now you're telling me we pay. So at a point, I remember Mark just saying, can't you just put the medication as we figure ourselves out? They said no.
How old were you, if you don't mind sharing?
No, I don't mind. Okay. I was 26, 27. Hey, math.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, about that
So
age.
that's still a young girl.
Yes.
That's a young
Yeah.
girl.
And it's your first pregnancy. You have
your
no
first
idea what's going
pregnancy.
on. And my parents were there. They were also trying to figure out what was going on. And I'll never forget my husband's former boss. God bless him. He sent money on a boda. He came riding on a boda, but by that point, we had agreed we're not going to stay here. So this is the gynecologist I had worked with from just before pregnancy, before marriage, into my first pregnancy. We call him and we tell him we can't afford this hospital because we had looked at the structure. Because this is a preterm baby. The neonatal ICU charges are ridiculous. So he said, could we please be transferred to a smaller hospital down the road? And these were the last words from that doctor I'd worked with up to date. He said,
This was your gyna all along,
Yes.
even before getting pregnant, even before getting married.
yeah, but I met him before marriage with my husband, but he wasn't my initial gynecologist. It was
Okay.
a new one who we decided as we start this marriage journey,
Let us work with
let's
him.
start with this
Okay.
one. He told us, I'm sorry, I don't operate at that hospital. I'll refer you to someone else. And that was the last call we had from that doctor. We were put in the ambulance again, and now I'm being carried like an egg, slowly.
Yeah, because now you're still dilating.
I'm still dilating, and I was rushed to this new hospital.
Any pain?
Nothing.
Still
I'm
no
just
pain.
panicking, because I don't know what's going on. Nothing is happening. But let me tell you, Celestine, when God says all things work together for the good of those who love God, because up to that point, I had declared that I love God, but I was going to learn to love Him more during this journey that was coming. And to those who are called, there was a story he was trying to tell, because by the time we got into that hospital, the doctor I met there, and I need to mention her.
The new hospital
The new
now.
hospital. Now, the new gynecologist I was referred to has walked with me through all my other pregnancies and has worked with a lot of our friends and family through complicated pregnancies as well. Dr. Owende, I have to say thank you to her. Philomena Owende, she was a blessing because she came very calm. She had me checked in. In fact, I'm talking like it's a hotel, admitted.
No, it's very passionate.
And she put me in a room on a bed with a window, which I really appreciated because I did not know I was going to be there for a few days. And she broke it down and told us, you're now in preterm labor. Preterm labor is when you enter labor before the stated gestation, full gestation of the child.
Yeah.
And for you, it's a bit extreme because the age of the child is not viable outside of the womb. So we're going to try keep you as calm as possible, try to settle your womb as much as possible because you're having contractions. And she told me, you're one in I don't know how many women who feels nothing.
Like at this point, you're still feeling
I felt nothing.
Nothing.
Even for the next 5 days while I was still in that hospital, I felt nothing.
Have you dilated more?
Yes. So I was dilating, I don't know at what rate, but by the time, because I checked in on a Sunday, I believe, or Saturday. I stayed there until, I can't remember whether it was a Thursday or a Friday, because now I was in bed, I was being humbled because now I couldn't even go to the toilet.
So you didn't like you didn't deliver when you
No.
go to the, but you're dilating.
But they're trying to keep the baby in for as long as possible to get her to grow as much as possible and also give me a shot of progesterone to mature her lungs.
Oh, yeah.
So by the time the baby comes out, it gives the child the best chance of survival because her lungs were premature.
How about the mucus that was? Is
Now-
there still enough water in the sac?
The water, so not broken water. It was only the mucus plug that has gone. But from what she checked, she said, since I was in a sterile, safe environment, should the baby come, I'm in a hospital. But for now, we're not going to induce labor. We won't induce labor because I was not ready to push. But when we went for a scan, I don't know on what day, is when they noted this child was ready. Yani alikuwa ameset her head was at the cervix. And by this time, when you're in preterm labor and you've passed the 3 centimeter mark, and I hope I'm accurate, you can't have something called the saclage, the McDonald's stitch, which is something they do for women who go into preterm labor. They literally sew up your cervix. They lock it to hold it.
Yeah.
So for some women, when you start bearing down, your cervix, some women just open. So apparently I found out now after this child, which became an answer to be able to carry the other two,
You had to stitch
I had
it.
to stitch for the
Yeah.
other two after the 3-month mark. So these are things I learned on the way. I did not know. But by the time this child was already, she was set. There was no sewing. It was too late.
So you stayed in hospital for
About 5 days. On the 5th day, I was trying to, because now you can't go to the bathroom. I was bathed in bed. You do everything in bed, Celestine. That thing
Because the
humbled
moment
me.
you just,
I could not sit.
the baby
I
will
could
come
not
out.
walk. They couldn't risk it. So I was in bed. You know that thing of be still. Now me, I was being still by force. Like I was never used to that. So that also started introducing me to how much of a busybody I was. I did not know how to be still. But now, because there's something precious to me, and I was trying to hold this thing in, I realized I can be still, which is something I've held on to in my walk thereafter. If I value the things God has given me, I need to be still and know He's God through every circumstance, not only when there's drama. Because now it took a dramatic event to still me, to hear Him, and to learn who He is and trust Him through this process.
So you were there for 5 days.
I was there for 5 days.
You were still for 5 days.
Yes.
Be still.
Be still. Literally,
Yeah.
be still. Because now, you can be still physically, like in
Yeah.
hapa, which is now the one a lot of women and even men need to learn. You can look very calm,
parts,
cool, calm, and collected. But what's going on inside your mind? So that's the one I learned thereafter, to be still even in my thoughts. Because we're told in scripture, let this mind be in me that was in Christ. There's a way Christ, his mind was just connected to the Father. So no matter what was happening to him while he walked on this earth, no matter how people spoke against him, no matter how now when the time came and he was beaten and did everything, he had a goal. I need to get to that cross for the sake of humanity. And he was still, because his mind was stayed on his Father. So even for me through life now, because of that journey, it woke me up to, yes, I could be God first had to deal with my physical man. Let's
Before we
still
get into the...
But now, even internally, my mind, because after this, I was not still at all. After the death, I was lost.
No, so sorry. I feel like
We're
I've not
jumping.
even gotten into the death. So
Okay.
5 days you are still.
I was still.
Until at what point did they feel like, no, it's time we get out, we get the baby out?
And I'll have to be I had to use the bedpan.
What
Okay?
is that?
Bedpan is where you pee or pass stool in bed.
Oh, really?
And you're cleaned there. Yes. That journey also made me have respect for caregivers. Because now I had to have someone take care of me, whether it was a nurse or if it was someone, my mom or my husband, who was around. It was very humbling. So I needed to pass. I felt the urge to go to the loo. I did not know it was labor. Because remember, I don't get pain. Okay?
Wow.
So I'm about to pass. I'm thinking I'm passing stool, or the urge is there. Then for some reason, I felt something engorged. I felt something. I just felt something. So I put my hand and I felt something round. Celestine, I screamed. I remember I screamed. And it was visiting hours for lunchtime had just ended. So my mom had left and my husband had left. So now a nurse runs in and I remember she opened the curtain. I'll never forget. She looked at me and she ran back. Then now I'm screaming and I'm shouting, the baby is coming, the baby is coming, the baby is coming. I'll never forget this woman, a mother. I think she was Sudanese. There was a lady who had been alikuwa amejifungua, which is something we also need to look at in the medical field, because I was put with women who were in labor or who had had children. That can induce labor in someone who's not supposed to. Being in the space where other women are having babies crying and stuff like that is not the best environment for someone who's trying to stay calm,
Be still.
But this woman came and she hit me and she told me, shh, calm down or the baby will come. And I just froze. I was like, who are you? Why are you hitting me? But it's what I needed.
Yeah. I mean, you're waking my baby.
Yeah.
I'm just done putting down my baby.
No, it was
I'm
the mother.
thinking,
The mother
So
of
I'm thinking maybe she was frustrated because I'm just done putting down
Her
my
grandchild,
baby.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you know, why are you waking? Ama, if it's a woman, an old one, she's like, why are
Maybe
you
she
misbehaving?
understood. No, I think she saw my panic and she did not know what to do. So she was trying to tell me, calm down.
Oh.
Then she asked me, where's your phone? Then I gave her. Then I can't remember how, but I told her last number. So she called Mark. She called my husband.
Oh.
So now he's been told to come back. By this point, nurses have come and
Okay.
there's a doctor who's come, who is not my doctor. Not my doctor.
Because this is an emergency.
Yeah, it
This
was an
wasn't
emergency.
planned, yeah.
She was supposed to come later in the evening. Now this man checks in. And now in his checking tells me there's nothing. Celestine, whatever had come had disappeared.
Oh?
It went back in. So
Oh my God.
I'm there now being checked because they're like, are you sure? I told them, I
Oh my
know what I felt.
God.
I know what I felt. So this guy does now what they call the exam to check how widely how far you are.
Yeah.
It was the worst exam I'd ever had. I don't think you should ever do that again. So he came and
Is it where they put
their fingers
Yeah, that
to
thing
measure.
is just bad.
It's
That
so
thing is just
uncomfortable.
bad, yeah.
Hey, women, we're strong.
Yeah, that thing, by the way, that's the worst thing ever. To
It's very
just see how
uncomfortable. Yeah.
that thing is bad.
Yeah, memories. Huh?
Yeah.
So he came and he says, you're 8 centimeters. This cannot go back. We're almost there. And I was thinking, I cannot be 8 centimeters. I cannot be 8 centimeters. So now even I put my legs, because now I was wondering, how do I keep this baby in? And now they lifted the bed. And now I was still to wait for my doctor. Or when I'm being checked, Mark came in. And I remember Mark, I'll never forget his face. He just looked and he was like, I remember he just came and stood. I remember he held me. He just held me. So this doctor is talking, then eventually leaves. Then our doctor was called. My mom was called. So now people are called because they're being told now that for sure, huyu mtoto anakuja leo.
So the nurse who saw the head.
No, the nurse didn't see the head.
Oh, no. So it's only you.
Yeah, she
Okay.
said she saw the liquid or something.
Okay.
But for me, because once I felt it, I think I need.
okay,
So
okay.
apparently later, it wasn't the child. It was the waters, the bag of waters. You know, the one that's supposed to now break?
yeah, the
It was
sac.
the bag of waters that were now engorging. So apparently that went back in.
And you're not feeling pain?
I'm not feeling pain.
No pain?
No pain. Just
Like no
pressure.
pain, even
I had
back pain?
nothing. Now what started coming was nausea. And I wanted ice. So I wanted to chew ice. And I wanted the baby to stay inside. That was all that was on my mind.
And you're saying the women who don't feel pain during... okay.
I'll tell you how. But they made me feel pain when the time came. I'm getting there.
Okay.
So the
doctor came.
The doctor came. So
Your
now by the
husband was
time,
here.
yes. So there was a meeting with our doctor now, and she came and she calmly told me, Gina, where we've reached, for sure this baby is coming today. Okay. So we're going to do our best to see. I don't even want to touch you because as I look at you and I'm seeing your symptoms, because now I started throwing up, I have a feeling you're almost there. So maybe 8, 9 now. But let's wait and see. So we're going to put you in the delivery room as we wait. So I was moved. And I remember there was my friends and family were all there watching, and I was taken into a delivery room. While I'm waiting, Mark comes and tells me, we need to move you. So I'm looking at him, I'm like, I'm ready to, psychologically, I'd even started now, I was singing to God. I can't remember what song it was, but I was singing to him and just telling him, I need to meet this baby. The one ask on my heart was like, I must meet this baby. At least let me meet her. So he comes in and tells me, the one ventilator that the hospital has gone into use. And for sure, this baby, when she comes out, will need a ventilator. So we need to move me, to a hospital accredited that can do this. So the best chance we chose to go to...
This time you're on an ambulance.
And now I'm being taken...
This is the third time.
Third time. And this time I had to be put like... they brought pillows to try keep me as still as possible. Now, here is where the medical field sometimes...
Because if you shake, the baby
will come out. And here is the catch.
God.
If that baby comes out before I get to the hospital, they will need 600,000 Kenya shillings before touching that child or myself. Because it's emergency, neonatal ICU care. But if I go there with the baby inside and nijifungue
tukuchukue ka patient.
Kama patient, it was 50. Was it 60K?
And
isn't that discrepancy?
Yeah, so we need to handle this patient.
So when I was being put in the ambulance with this
pillows and people
and this information, I remember, and my doctor left her
they
car.
Had told you all this
they gave me all the information. And I thank God I had it, because it caused me to go into a certain prayer, which I thought was very bold, but God had me. I remember I entered that ambulance and my doctor was at the front. No, she sat with me and was holding pillows. Mark was at the front with the driver. My mom, and I don't know how many people were following them, the ambulance, was saying every time they saw a bump or a pothole, they were praying. So I, in the back of this ambulance, had one prayer. I told God, Father, we don't have 600,000 shillings. We don't have it. But I've asked you one thing. I need to meet this child. Please, can you keep that? You can, I think I'm 9. I think you can hold that 1 centimeter. You've done extraordinary things in scripture. I'm asking you, hold that 1 centimeter until we get into the hospital. That's my ask. And I left it. Nikaendelea kuimba. I kept singing. When we got to this hospital that I was to birth in, we got there, I'm whisked out, and the doctor's like, the baby's still here. We need to get into the the theater. Not theater, bathing room, delivery room. We get there, the lift is not working. And it was 4th floor. It was an older wing. So they had to now, people surrounded me, the friends and nini, wakashika hiyo stretcher. I was taken up that,
stairs.
It's called what? The ramp.
Oh.
And I was taken into the delivery room. I was put slowly on the bed. And the doctor told me, Gina, we are fine. I believe you're now at 10 centimeters. And that's when I was told now to push. But I did not know when to push.
Because there's no pain.
There's no contraction.
Yeah, so how do you know when to push?
For women, there are 2 things that happen. So induction is when the cervix is not opening up and they have to induce so that the cervix can open up. I don't have that problem. My cervix is good to go. But now they had to do something called augmentation. Augmentation is when they give you, there's another drip that's put, which makes you feel the contraction. The difference with this one, the natural way that God has given us, it climbs. With augmentation, you go straight to 10. The pain, I remember the pain. But now I was pushing with fear. So I was pushing, but usha push, lakini bado umeshikilia. So I think I was still in denial that this baby can't come.
Preterm, yeah.
So I was trying to push, but I'm not pushing. Until a nurse came and told me, Jean, you're not pushing. And this baby is so small. You'll crush her in your canal if you keep going like this. You need to push. That's all I needed. One push, one. In fact, Mark used to crack a joke that she jumped out. Like the doctor, I remember, she actually had to catch her. Mark was like, hey, you've popped champagne. And I was like, that's not even funny.
That's funny.
She just came. And
That's
he
Okay,
has a
that's
sense of
funny.
humor.
That's
In
funny.
some certain scenarios.
That's funny.
Yeah. So she came out, and that's when a dream I had as a woman started crashing, and I was dying inside because now the word that started coming to me is, Jean, you're such a failure. Your body can't even carry a baby. Because as soon as this baby was born, she was whisked away and put in something called a warmer, right? But pia walimrap kama nyama in cling film. Because with a preterm baby, the skin has not fully developed to be able to regulate temperature.
When you say cling film, unamaanisha ile
Cling film
kupika?
ile ya kupika.
To maintain the temperature?
To trap the heat. Because any cold can just, for preterm, they can die very quickly. So I'd already been prepared. As all the drama was going on, I was being taken in. There was a neonatologist who are now the doctors who take care of preterms. She told me, you can't receive this baby. So my first picture that I had wanted, in the movie, the baby comes, oh, look, it's a girl.
On my face,
Yeah, it's a boy. There was nothing like that. No. I was going to have it a few weeks later, but the baby was not alive. So the baby was taken away from me and thrust. And then I also had issues with the placenta. It's called what? Coming out, because the placenta when it's viable at full gestation, is when it's easier to birth it. Mine was still holding on to no, there's a child. The body should still be.
We are not yet done with
Isn't
our
the body
business.
amazing the way God has created us?
That one was still ready to continue doing its business.
It was refusing to come out. So the doctor tells me, Jean, now, if this thing doesn't come out, we'll have to take you at ECS. I get a CS to remove the placenta.
God, Jesus.
And I remember at that moment,
women.
I was lying there, and I remember looking at the doctor, and I said, no, that placenta is coming out now. And she pulled, and it came out. I remember Mark looked at me like,
another champagne.
He's like, more like, you actually spoke it, and it's come out. Then I was like, I'm not going into any, no, I've had enough. In scripture, we're told that the Lord will not tempt you beyond what you can handle.
Yeah.
Because where I'd reached, I was just like, there's no way I've birthed. I'm not sure that the baby is going to survive.
And then
you're telling me I'm going to have a scar. No.
For a placenta?
For a placenta.
Not even for a baby?
Because it was refusing, but it came out.
Hata nizaambia cheka hapo ndani.
Yeah.
Okay,
So the baby came out and she was whisked away in the incubator.
Let me ask, the pain, the
augmentation,
immediately if the baby is out, did the pain stop?
Immediately.
So ilijua, like...
Yeah. In fact, medicine fascinates me. And science, yeah. And this wisdom that God has given some men to create amazing answers. Yeah, so as soon as the baby came out, there was no pain. None at all.
Okay.
So
okay.
very quick, very quick. And with the other 2 children that I've had, same thing had to happen.
Oh, the
First, the
same.
cervix, the stitch is removed. And I immediately,
Which was stitched at month 3.
after the 12th week, yes. They
yeah.
check you to be sure that, all is well. And then you go under. You have to put under. And then Tauko and the doctors know what they're doing. And then a few weeks to delivery is when the thing should be removed. Although with my second one, there was the threat, and again, because I didn't know I was going into labor, the cervix was being pulled because it was trying
So
to open as well.
you've never felt pain even?
No.
So they've taken the kids to the NICU, to the warmer. They've taken the baby
Yes.
to the warmer.
Yes. To her room, in the incubator. And so now I was left alone and they're doing the final things. I had no tears, nothing. So I was just taken to a room to heal. But that's when the death of me started. I was in pain internally.
They didn't take you to the warmer? Like they didn't
No.
take you to see the kid?
Because they have so much to do with a preemie. They have to put a ventilator. They have to do so much to prepare the child to now start life outside the womb, in a
So you don't get
man-made
to-
womb.
You don't get to meet the baby immediately.
No. There's a lot that's going. There's a whole team that attends to the child. Then maybe by the time they wanted to, because in the morning, that evening, once I was left by now, because my mom came, my mother-in-law came, they were congratulating me. And I remember looking at them and wondering, what are you congratulating exactly? I failed. Yeah?
That's how you felt?
That's how I felt immediately. Internally, I started losing myself even more. I was like, I failed as a mother, as a wife, no first grandchild, no. I just felt this body cannot carry. Then I started now condemnation, which is something a lot of women do. This happened because I did this. This happened because I did this. So I started thinking all my wayward ways of my youth, maybe drinking, clubbing, all these things, or maybe when I disobeyed. It's funny how we paint a picture of something without going back to the creator and asking him, why is this happening? But instead of going to him, we first go back through our track record.
Try to see where could I have gone wrong.
Yes. But God, he doesn't keep a record of wrong. That's not the God we serve. He's our Father and he's a good one. If I'd known what I know now, I would have just gone like, why is this happening? But I had to go through the process I did so that I could learn with it. And then it becomes an anchor point so that now when things happen, I'm more mindful to pause and go like, okay, Lord, this isn't going the way I thought it was going to go. Was I on script with you? Is there somewhere I was inaccurate? And if I missed it, I don't beat myself up.
Or is this still the script?
Yes. Because, people walking with God or having a relationship with God does not mean
Smoothness.
Yes.
Amati.
Yes.
Calm.
Yes.
Rosy.
Why are we afraid to partake of suffering?
And he also
He did.
Yeah.
Christ came and he knew he knew his
He
assignment.
himself actually aliteseka.
Yes.
So who are you not to?
Yes.
Yeah, I love that.
Some of us complain, and the time I used to throw tantrums over God knows what. And one day God asked me so clearly, because I started hearing God very well in ICU, or better. The time later, after this whole journey, I was mumbling and grumbling about something, and God asked me, have you bled for me? And I remember it caught me off guard. I was like, sorry, maybe I'm not hearing that. And he asked again so clearly, my baby, have you bled for me? Have you even gotten a scratch? Because my son died. He was beaten. He had imagine thorns. Sometimes we have to actually pause and think about what Christ went through for us to have access to God himself. Because in older times, even the Older Testament, guys were afraid to go into that Holy of Holies because they knew if they step in there, they're dead. It was only one man who went in, the high priest, one man to carry the whole nation and their sins and say, please forgive us whatever it is that they did. When Christ came, that one life gave us access to God. But we never go back to the Creator, the one who has the script. And I'm not saying he'll always tell you everything. There are times he'll go quiet, and that's when you have to learn to trust him. Sometimes it's just waiting to see, let me see when I'm quiet whether she'll still trust me. Because sometimes, and I'm not saying he'll always come with an audible. I used to think God was like this old man with a very long beard. It's just that we couldn't see where it had reached on earth. Yeah? With a big stick, waiting to tell you where, But I've learned that he's a beautiful father who has already orchestrated everything in our lives, the ups and the downs. The song we sing, in the valley, on the mountain. He's the same God. we have to be able to trust him and go back to him so that even when things don't go the way we desire, that is when you check if you actually love God and you trust him. That journey showed me how much I didn't love him or trust him. Yeah. So I cried that night.
Let me ask. When a woman gives birth, and I think I'm asking you because this is something, well, I think just came into my head. When a woman gives birth at preterm, do you have milk? Like what happens?
Yes.
So are you
I can't
pumping milk
breastfeed.
and so are you pumping and giving it
Yes.
to them?
Yes.
Are they how is
So
it?
what happens, one of the other things that they're putting in the child while they're stabilizing is a pipe, a food pipe. So beyond the ventilator, which was helping her breathe, she also had now the food pipe. And we also see with, but now hers was very thin for milk. So the milk that I would eventually express, you don't even need much because the first milk, was it 1 mm, like
It's like a syringe.
Yeah, it's a syringe.
Okay.
So they put a syringe and they attach the pipe, which then there's so many machines in the neonatal ICU.
I think I've seen those
Yeah.
videos online of very
Yes.
tiny
So there's
preterm.
a machine which has been programmed to know how much to release. So it's connected to now the feeding pipe. A small, very small, depending on the size of the baby, and it's put in and it drops into the stomach according to how much the child can handle. And in the beginning, they give very little because the child digestive system is also not ready
Yeah,
to
fully
receive.
developed. Yeah.
So they're also giving it time because now we had to monitor for everything. Is she peeing? Is she pooping? Because her eyes were also not open. We watched, her eyes were still fused when she came out. We watched. One thing I thank God for with that journey, in hindsight, was I got to see the wonder of God. What happens inside this beautiful space we've been given as women, secret, because the things as women we carry are beyond physical babies. There's a way God has gifted women to carry nations, to carry ideas, to carry conceptions. And I want to bring back what I shared about the garden. Eve, and I've shared this in the book, part of it. When man was created, he was doing very well. Okay? Adam was naming and he was in step with God. And I always ask, and I asked even as I launched this book, I asked, what was it that God saw this man needed to come into that he needed help? Because Celestine, if you don't need help, will you ask for it? Unless there's a gap somewhere or something that you can't do.
So there must have been something.
But we never got to find out what it was because when Eve came, how come that's when the serpent
serpent came?
How come he had never disturbed this man? Yeah?
Maybe,
so there's a power about this
maybe
woman.
Satan was like, oh, this woman is coming to do a lot.
There, you've nailed it on the head. And guess what? Right now as we speak, God still has that beautiful story he desires to tell through women. But we've also messed up because now as women, we're either trying to compete to be like men, or we're competing with each other, or we're comparing.
So we've not even found out what
Thank
is
you.
this thing that we were coming to help.
No.
Instead of coming to help, we've come to try and...
We want to be better. We want to show that we have a voice. The voice was already there.
That's a good... Okay, I've
Yeah.
never thought of it that way.
So
But
there's
yeah.
such a beauty to women, but sometimes God has to shake some of like for me, I know this journey was to tell me, Jean, I need you to wake up and please be an answer for me on the earth. I created you to be helper, to be a comparable help into spaces where there are things I need to bring forth beyond physical babies. There are things women have. That's why you say, I have a sixth sense, I have a feeling. I have something is going. That thing, if we would just pause and inquire, like, what is this thing? What is it I'm feeling or sensing? Most times God has put such a gift in each of us as women. If we were all to understand the beauty each of us brings, and it's beautiful because no side of God, when he says he created us in the image and the likeness, imagine the body. Imagine God as a body. You've been entrusted with the arm. Maybe she's been entrusted with a foot. He's been entrusted with the eye. If all of us brought that image accurately without comparing, nafanya nini? What? How come you're not doing yours well? No, I'm better than
Focus
you.
on yours.
Yeah. So as a woman, I thank God that I got to see this baby forming before my eyes and growing and starting to take more milk and pass stool. And all these were part of our journey because she wasn't doing it and we had to pray for a lot of these things to happen. There are points where she had a brain, there was so much, we'd have to have like 10 shows. I don't know how many shows. It was a lot.
How long was she in the warmer?
63 days.
63 days.
I
Those are
never
how
got
many
to,
months?
not only did I not receive her, 2 months. Just about 2 months.
And I remember you saying the fear of you having a baby in the NICU, the bills. How was it now? How was the bill?
Hey, at the end of it all,
No. Like, how was it acquiring? Like, how was that process? Because you had ukiogopa
Yeah.
600k ile ya kuzalia kwa njia.
600k ilikuja hata hiyo wiki. The incubator alone, the house she was in, the box, without medication, everything, was 25k per day.
Just being there.
Just being in that,
Just occupying that
just
space.
occupying that space.
Now, meds, food.
Meds, checkups, check her eyes, check her kidneys, check I don't know what, her heart, check her brain, check a lot of things. I don't know how we survived that season. It was God. And I know 3 doctors who by the time she passed waived their whole bill. Otherwise our bill would have been crazy.
Wow.
It still was, because even by the time we got our 3rd born, we were still, that's when we cleared the bill.
Really?
Yeah, we paid slowly too.
And when is this time you're getting your 3rd born?
2015.
How many years apart?
3.
You're still clearing. Oh my God.
It was a painful, that season. You know, sometimes we sit with Mark now, we cannot say that we've not seen the hand of God. We never went hungry. I don't know how we didn't go hungry. We were never thrown out of our house. We had people step in and do so much for us. I don't know how. I honestly, looking back, I'm not sure. But it was him.
What can you say was the most, like, okay, I know this was the most lowest. Was it the most lowest
season of my life?
Yeah. Okay. How can you describe the 63 days?
Where?
Was there progress with the baby? With
yes.
Zoe?
Yes.
Her name is Zoe, by the
yeah.
way.
She was growing. It was an emotional roller coaster.
There was hope?
There was hope. Then the hope is, let me give an example. There was a day she started being very, had a lot of movement. And I was like, oh my God, she's so...
And the movement, is it the car? I've seen or...
No, that day she seemed very active.
Okay.
Only to be told that she was having a brain bleed. She was convulsing.
Oh, God.
So you seen the hope?
Yeah.
For me, I'm saying, oh my God, she's moving. She's doing more, she's active. Then I saw the nurses coming in. Then they're telling me, please step out. Then the doctor comes in. Then they close the curtains. And I ran to the bathroom. There was a bathroom in ICU I used to run to. And I remember I had this posture of holding myself like this a lot.
Gosh.
And I stood there because in less than a few minutes, I'd gone from, oh my God, we're getting there, to, oh my God, she could die.
And this was how life was for the 63 days?
Yes, for 63 days.
So today she's opening her morning. Eyes, she's pooping.
Yeah. The next day you're being told her ventilation is low. And then there was an error that was made in the hospital because she was doing very well. There's a Sunday when she finally opened her eyes very well. I still have that picture. She opened her eyes and she grasped my hand. Now, to show you how small she was, her hand holding filled my first. That's how big she was. That's how small she was. But she squeezed and we connected. Then we go home. In fact, that day we finally went out to a restaurant and ate properly because I don't remember the last time we sat and ate. That day we ate. I think this child is doing well. She's coming home soon. The next morning I come in. The child's, because I knew her stats on the ventilator.
You even knew how to read?
I could read them. I know PAP, I don't know what has gone up. So I'm watching and I'm seeing her numbers have gone up. She needs higher oxygen, her oxygen levels are higher. Then I also noted her hand had been covered in a lot of gauze and she just looked limp.
A lot of what?
Gauze, like cotton, gauze, like, like when you have a bandage. Yeah.
Okay.
So it had been covered up with a lot of cotton under, and I was wondering what, and one is telling me what's going on. So I walk in and I'm asking the nurses, and I remember all of them. Oh, God bless them all. Christine, Steve, there was Esther, there was so many, Faith. And I remember looking at them, asked them, what's going on? Then everyone said me, please go talk to your doctor. They said my doctor was not around. She had gone for a symposium for something. So another doctor was on duty the night before. But I told me, no, she's back. Please just go to the doctor's plaza. So I went to the plaza and I wait. And when someone came here, queues were not, I just jumped the case, said, I need to see her. So I went in and as soon as I walked in, she was like, oh, Jean, you're here. Okay, now please sit. I told her, I'm not sitting down.
Just tell me
what's going on with Zoe. Because I can see she's not the child I left yesterday. Okay, so now we had a bit of an incident yesterday night. And I was like, what incident? And she told me, there's a doctor who made a call I would not have made. This is your doctor. Our doctors need to learn how to communicate. They need to learn how to communicate and how to relay news. So she tells me there's a call that was made, and Zoe was given a medication that was not for her age. It was her lungs couldn't carry. So one lung has collapsed.
Are you serious?
Yes. So now she's breathing from one lung, and the hand is because the nurses did not catch that one. There was a block. So what was happening was my baby's hand was dying. I remember looking at her and asking, what do you mean dying? Like, so if you go look at it, it's starting to turn it's a bit pale in color. So we're trying to keep it warm to heat up. She was being very modest. Let me tell you, when I left that room, I went to there was a cot. I just sat on a bench and I wept. I felt defeated. I felt alone because Mark was working. My mom wasn't there. Now in hindsight, I realized, God, we're never alone. But in that moment, I couldn't see that. I cried. So I went back to the doctor, to now the ICU room. And I told them, open the hand, I want to see. And told me, no, Ginny, I think we'll wait for the doctor. I told them, open the hand, I want to see. So they slowly, Nini, and they said, no, we'll have to put her. And what had happened is her hand had started turning blue. You know, it's called gangrene. When a limb is dying, blue. So they're saying, I remember it had really started, the tips were quite dark, and then the rest were, her hand just looked off color, like it was changing. So now they wrapped it up again. I remember I went outside again, I cried. I wept, Celestine. I wept. And I didn't know how to pray to God. I was angry, confused, desperate. I called Mark. I tried briefing him what was going on, and my mom. So my mom came first. And then Mark came later. And I remember they told me the top surgeon the top pediatric surgeon was going to come, advise us on what to do. So I'm thinking hope is coming. Again, you're asking what my journey there was. So I had hope with this doctor coming. Now I realized, please let's not put hope in men.
Yeah.
Put your hope in God, because men can speak and break you. And he walked in. By that time, my mom was standing at the door. Mark hadn't come. So I remember the incubator is here. I'm standing on this side. The doctor went that side and said, you're the mother? I said, yes. Okay, open the incubator. Then the nurse is like, no. Let her do it. She's the mother. So I'm wondering, I never really held Zoe. So I'm like, okay.
And I'm assuming it's supposed to be warm. So
Yes.
what happens when you open?
You don't open the full incubator. These
Okay.
they're
Okay.
like eyes on, I forgot what they're called.
They're circles. I
Yes.
see those. Okay, yeah.
So you put your hands inside and you sterilize. If you're in a home, you couldn't enter ICU. So you sterilize, then I started undoing the hand. Then the doctor, I'll never forget. Doctors, you need to learn how to talk to your patients. He told me, he said, I'll never forget, he did this. No hope. No hope. You see the blue, the purple, that means basically the fingers are dead now. And since you can see it's still fading upwards, so it could travel up. And what will happen, a line of demarcation will be formed. And that's where the finger or the hand will fall off. In fact, what's the worst we've had? Was it here? Oh, no, there's one which actually here. The death happens until where the blood is now flowing. And so medically, they call it a line of demarcation. Okay? And that's a place where the limb falls off. And sometimes to stop this in the medical dramas, we see, that's why they say amputation sometimes, to stop the dying. Yeah, that circulation and to try to get the best part saved of the limb. And he says that, and he says, if this girl survives, if this girl survives, you're going to have to tell her a lot of things as to why you allowed this to happen to her. That's what this doctor is telling me. Do you not save that man, that incubator between us? In that moment, I felt rage. Rage, because now I don't know what to do. Why are you talking to me like that? You see? But at this point, I didn't have the maturity of mind to realize the mind of Christ was not present. I just remember looking at this man and I felt so broken. He said, but we'll see what we can do. We'll maybe review, but I'm not sure how much let's just wait and see. And I remember watching him walk out. He just walked out.
And that's the doctor you've been having hope
waiting
on.
for. Yeah. I'd never met him. It was the first time to meet. We'd never needed a surgeon. We'd not needed a surgeon until this point. So he walks out and I couldn't move. I could not move. So I remember just standing, my hands were still there. Then the nurse, was it Esther, who came and she pulled me, showed me, Jean, remove your hands. So I remember my hands being removed. And I just stood there. Then I was like, I need a window. I like windows. I like the sky. So I went and there was a window in our room. I went and I stood there and I just stood. Then I remember my mom coming and trying to, and I remember just, I didn't want to hear. I didn't want to talk. I needed to process what had just been told. So I stood there. Then at that point, I didn't know Mark had arrived. So my mom briefed Mark. So Mark now came in. When I felt his presence, he just stood next to me. I remember looking at him. Then he put his hand around me. Then he held my other hand. And he told me, she's still our baby. Whether she has a hand or no hand, she's still our baby. And I remember looking at him, and there was a resolve. I said, she's still my baby. She's still our baby. He said, let's go and pray. So we went and we did something we'd done for all those 63 days. We put our hands over her incubator and we started praying. And I started praying like a mad woman. I started saying, God, pink up those hands. Pink them up. Please pink them up, because I'm not sure how much. I don't even know. Is she in pain? What is she going through? Because you can imagine a limb dying. And then I could see the child doing, because now there's a ventilator. When there's a ventilator in any person, sound cannot come out, because sound needs breath. So that has been blocked. So I was just seeing her mouth and I was thinking, is she in pain? And I just told God, Father, please do something, do something. And I remember at that point, I went to the visitors. I just collapsed. There was a lounge. I just went and I cradled like a baby. I didn't want to be touched. I just stayed and I wept. I wept. At a point again, I used to have those moments of I cry, then I go, next, let's keep going.
You put on the first daughter, first grandchild, first.
Because who am I to cry? Have you seen what that baby's going through?
Yeah.
So I've removed. It's like the tank was full. I remove a bit, and I have room to continue. Yeah. I go back and I do let's go express milk. What can I do? Because I was still relying on my strength. What's my role? What can I do?
I'm the mother.
So as much as I was praying, there was still a lot of me in this game. A lot of me. I'd not released this child. I'd not released this child. But I was about to be tested, because in the next morning when I woke up, before the other test came, I was told the doctor called us, because that's the first morning I did not go to the ICU by 6-7. I had no strength. 6-7. I had no strength. I got a call from the doctor. Jean, where are you? Her hand is pinking up.
Oh.
The Lord answered. Let me tell you, I called my mom. I told her, Mom, I need you to come pick me up, because now I didn't have a car. So what's happening? I told her what's happening. And that day, the way we got to that hospital, even parking, I told her, leave me, you go look for parking. I ran upstairs and I go upstairs. So they hadn't fully pinked up, but now it was mainly the nail bed. She still suffered, but the way it had purpled, blued up to the fingers were going to go. They had cleared up. So now it was mainly the ones that had really gotten a beating, like her baby finger, like the first part was gone. So it had literally shriveled. It wasn't a full finger. Some lost their nail, but I saw God in that. And now the pain I knew had stopped. And I said, Aki, God is real. But I was angry. There was still anger inside me, because you see, that's not the baby I birthed, right? But there were more tests to come. There were 2 times later, 2 times that happened thereafter, which I go into in the book, where she almost died. A 3rd time where Celestine, this child died and came back herself after 15 minutes, clinically dead.
Then 15 minutes again, she's back. The machine is beeping.
She's back.
Let me ask you something. You're always calling Mark, and I'm not saying it's bad. You're always calling Mark. You're always calling Mom. You're always calling Mark. You're always calling Mom.
Yes.
Where are your friends? Do you have friends at this time? Or or are they tired? At the first time, you had so many people in the ambulance. You had cars following.
Yeah.
Now we've gotten to a point now it's Mom and Mark. I need to know, how is your...
The friends.
Yeah.
They were there, but I realized many did not know how to handle me.
Oh, okay.
Many did not, especially now it was a week, then another week, and then you've also started calling for funds. We had to do harambe, raise money. Because at a point, the hospital would keep sending us a bill. Please pay by this much. I don't know how many credit cards were run.
Yeah, I can imagine if it's 25K a day and we are doing 63 days already, and we don't have meds on that list.
Yeah. So the friends were there. Some would send messages. There are those who would come to the ICU. We had friends who would come and just sit with us. And I thank God for those who came, especially those who were just present. Because sometimes I always say, even with grief, people need to learn just being present is enough. Because sometimes you may move your mouth and say something so inaccurate that doesn't suit the situation. So we did have friends. But it's interesting, my speed, because the people who were allowed ICU, first of all, no, they were not
Yeah.
allowed in. So I only had Mark, our parents, and my sister. Those are the only ones allowed in. So I would talk to them, but Celestine, this is it was such a, I don't know what season this was. I felt so alone. So only those who had physical access to me, I lived in ICU. Do you understand? I lived in ICU for 63 days. If I was out, it was maybe if I need to eat something or go express, then I come back to the ICU. For those 2 months, my life revolved in that hospital.
Work?
I wasn't working by that time. I'd left mainstream media.
This is like maternity. This
Yes,
is still maternity
it's still
leave.
maternity. And by now, remember, I'm on contract for media and I have an events company. How am I doing any of that?
Had you shopped like the way new moms shop at home? You have a baby coat.
Hey, thank God, no.
So how was it?
I had a few clothes, but like coats and stuff, no.
Because it was 6 months.
Yeah.
So you were yet to
I was
do
waiting
the
for the
shopping.
8th, 9th month, then
To
we
do
start,
the
and then you do the
shopping.
list for baby shower.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hadn't gotten to that point.
So how was it? Because I'm sure your neighbors, people used to see this lady with a belly. Now we just see her. So someone like me, I'm scared. What do I even tell her?
Yeah, I know. And it's not just your neighbors, it's even friends and even some family members. They don't know how to handle you after. Because I think maybe I don't like the fact that we don't have that neighborliness. But I think in that season, I didn't mind it because everyone minded their own business. But there are those who did, you could just tell they were pole or, but no one ever came and asked us in our court about what was going on. It was mainly the guys from church who would follow up, and then immediate friends and family.
What could you say is the one thing that you really needed? If someone, because you've said we don't even know how to show up for people who are going through such a phase. Is there something that you needed the most? You've said, just come, sit, don't even talk. Because I understand most of us are like, don't worry, you'll get another one. And maybe that is the worst thing to tell someone going through such a phase. But what is that one thing that would have worked for you that time? Because I'm crying, then putting on this face of being an elderly, being a mom. What is that one thing you would have loved someone to do for you? Not even the 63 days.
Even after?
As a friend, I want to know how to show up for you. In as much as I don't know what you're going through, I can't even handle the pain you're going through, but what would have made sense for you?
I think some did the physical presence went a long way. That's number one. And then that they didn't tire. Because there are those who are there in the beginning, then along the way, the visits became few.
And it's human nature.
It's human, yeah. Maybe just a physical presence. I wish more women who've gone through such similar journeys would speak up. Because in that moment, I felt very alone. I didn't know there was an ICU for babies. So I was thrust into this world where I watched 5 babies die before hours passed. Let me tell you one thing that humbled. There was a baby who was born. Parents came full term, but the baby was brain dead. So now I didn't know this couple. We did not know them, but for some reason they came and called Mark and I and said, could you please come stand with us as we switch off life support? And I remember looking at them. I think we were 2 weeks into our ICU journey. And first, I don't know them. I was wondering, why are they calling us? Now I know better. Now I know better. So they came and they told us to go stand with them. And they took us to their ICU room. The baby had not been put in alone. And I was looking at this baby, full term.
This is what
3-point-something kg, which is what I desire.
wanted. Imagine.
They are desiring the life that Zoe has. Do you see how none is better?
Yeah.
So you're longing for, I wish I'd made it to full time, I failed.
Yeah.
This one is also going through her own journey. They, as a couple, are going through their own journey because we missed it maybe, because I think it was meconium. The baby pooped in their belly. So by the time they got in.
The water.
Yeah, so I got to learn a lot of stories in that ICU. Others are multiple. There's a lady who had triplets. 2 died. 1 died in the belly. And now to save the other 2 because of that sepsis can happen, they had to birth. So I realized my story was not the only one. So I got to meet women in that space. But you see, they were in pain. None of us were helping the other. If I had women, and maybe that's part of the reason God had me write this story, to tell other women and families, you're not alone. I've walked the journey. And for me, I thank God because this thing, from what I hear, it can kill people, like even as a person. For some reason, God has had mercy on me to help me heal and come on the other side. Because there's a wise man who's walked with me this journey. And he told me, do you know one day you'll give thanks for the death of this child? And I used to think you're cuckoo. You're not serious. But genuinely, it took some years. I'm not saying I got into it.
Years? How many years has it been since you lost Zoe?
So this year, we're into 14 years. 14
When did you
years.
start talking about it the way you're talking about it?
This is the first platform I'm openly talking about it.
Wow. It has taken you 14 years.
I've had one-on-ones with people. There are times I've been called into ICU to sit with a woman or two. And that journey helped me realize I didn't die during my process. Maybe I could be the answer I wish I had while I was here. So publicly, this is the first time.
Wow.
But the book was written 12 years after her death.
12 years
after her death. So this book was written in 2024. And I realized I'd come to the place where I was genuinely grateful for the death of Zoe because it was the game changer in my life. I look back at my journey, Celestine. As I said, I was a church girl. I did the whole, but I had one foot in God and the other foot in the world. And in Scripture we're told, in Revelations, God says, the lukewarm church, if you kama una msimamo, he'll spit you out. Like you disgust God. When you've ever tasted something and you just want to, can you imagine God saying that about a person? And he says, I'd even rather you're hot or cold. That way, even if you're cold, I can change you, chap, and you quickly come. And if you're hot for me. But this, just stay in the world then. Enjoy it to the max. Because either way, I'll still spit you out. I was that girl. So Sunday, I'm in church. But I know I'm already thinking, this evening, where am I going out to? Where are we clubbing? Or who am I meeting? Or what am I doing,
Yeah.
So it was such a mixture, and I thought it was okay. In ICU, where I genuinely, that's what I write about part of, I met God in ICU, the place where I thought I was dying, because he actually needed me to die, but not the physical one, but to myself. My plans, my desires, what I want, the plan I had in my life, and God was like, okay, now I think now it's time to intercept, wake her up out of slumber, to understand I've called her to so much more. The more didn't come packaged in the way I thought. It came through pain. But let me tell you, I thank God for this child's life. I thank God for the pain. I'm more compassionate. I'm sensitive to women, particularly, because now I meet a woman. I remember when she died, it was June 1st, which Kenya is celebrating what? Madaraka Day.
Madaraka Day.
Which is liberty, freedom. Later on, I would read in scripture about that the Spirit of God, when you walk with God, you're walking by liberty. You're walking by the Spirit of God and it comes like the wind. You don't know where it's coming from, but you feel its effect. And that's how we're supposed to be, right? The thing that upset me the most on that thing or hurt me is I had just lost my daughter. When I left the hospital, I had someone saying, tunaenda happy, wapi? Where are they going to the club? Where are we partying? And in my head, I almost told him, sorry, you cannot do that. My child just died.
We need to pause life.
The whole world needs to stop.
Pause. And that's something that it can't happen.
It can't happen.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, life still goes on? How do I find you in this mess? So I'm not sitting here saying that I got it immediately. I was a mess, Celestine. I wanted to die. I would wait in bed to die. And I'm not joking. I had seen my grandfather in a coffin and I knew how they arranged. And people in the coffin. So I said, and I'd also lost my dad just 8 months prior to that. So within a year, I'd lost my dad very suddenly. And then now my daughter. So in fact, I used to ask God, who's next?
Just take me.
In fact, I'd rather just take me. I can't do this anymore. This thing of burying people close to me, I don't think I can handle it. Then I'd keep waking up. And then by the mercy of God, he kept walking with me. I met different people along the way until I met a certain person and then a group. Different people were drawn to me. So I realized even my friend circle started changing. And this is not to say that the former friend circles were, we'll start labeling bad.
It's the season. So the season will come with,
Yes, it was seasons. And God gave me a new family, if I can call it that, a new family to walk with me. And what this family did for me is that they didn't coddle me. They didn't let me wallow in my pain. And they pushed me. They're like, there's more to you. If God can trust you with this thing. And I was like, wait, trust me? What do you mean? Like, yeah, because now you're so closed up in, oh, why me? Then who? Then who? Why can't God trust some of us with the pain, with the suffering? We may not be put on the cross like Christ, but we're told to die daily in Scripture. Therefore, I die daily. I allow my flesh to be crucified every single day. So when things come our way, are we able to pause and go like, God, what's the purpose of this thing? If you truly know all things work together and you're called for purpose and you love God, nasi kusema tu. Because most of us say, all things work together. We stop there. There's a catch. For those who love God, and love comes by obedience to his word. So that when we say I walk by faith, you're not just saying it. Faith in Scripture, we're told, comes by our word, by hearing him. So if we're not hearing him and doing what he's asking us to do, what are we doing? I realized I was just going about life because of the culture, how I'd been brought up. You go to school, there's a program. You get married 2 years, the baby came. And then that's when God said, now is script yako.
We need to switch up things
We need to break it up a bit. So that was the beautiful twist in my story.
There's this thing for, I think I've seen it somewhere, where people say, I lost a baby, now I'm scared to try for another one. How was it like for you?
I did go through that, yeah.
Yeah, how was it like? How was the journey for you now trying for your next baby?
I speak about that as well in the book. I desired a baby. First of all, I wanted to prove that I can carry a child to myself.
Full term.
Yeah. But initially, when Zoe passed, I remember we took some time out of town, where I tried to drink away my sorrow. But every time I drink, I'd throw up. And I like being raw about these things, because some of us like pretending that we haven't done these things. I've done them. I tried drinking because I was thinking I need to stop thinking to numb this thing. But guess what? The numbness, the feeling comes back.
Was it like a kind of a depression? Was there a depression after losing Zoe?
I never got that term in my head. I don't know. No, I wasn't depressed.
But it was difficult
I was
for you
lost.
to come back.
Yes,
Okay.
I was very lost, and I was desperate for answers. Because I had experiences in ICU where I had God clearly. Cele, I kid you not, I had a vision of Zoe's funeral. When I was in ICU, I saw the picture. I saw myself and Mark standing on a podium, and I saw people, and I saw a white coffin. I thought it was the devil. Because many of us, when something that doesn't go according to what we think should be the picture, we start saying, Ishindwe. We give the devil so much credit where he's not even part of the plan. He gets so happy. He's like, now they're paying attention to me. Later on, I realized God, by his mercy, was trying to prepare me. So I said, no, this is not of God. The day we had the service, and I walked up to the podium, and I stood. You know, I think they call deja vu.
Deja vu. It came to reality.
Yeah. I was like, I've been here.
Yeah,
I've seen this before. What is this? Then I remembered. I was quiet for a while. Then I went like, what? So later on, when I unpacked it where we ran away to, I realized God had been preparing me and teaching me how to hear his voice. He may not always speak. There are pictures he can give you. There are people he will send to you. But we don't pause to ask,
what was that?
What was that?
And why
was that? Yeah. So when I got pregnant, when after the break, when we came back, I told my husband, I'm ready. I want a baby.
How long after?
Like immediately.
Was this?
I was not myself.
It was to prove to people that, to yourself.
No, I wanted a baby. The baby had died. I need a baby. I needed something.
Oh, not like another.
No, I want my own.
Okay.
Pregnancy. But I didn't understand how I got home without a belly, without a baby. And then I'm just supposed to continue
with life.
So the thing we can do to keep me busy is let me try again. Do you know what Mark told me? No. And I was like, you're my husband.
Yeah.
I have rights.
Yeah.
I thank God I can laugh now. I was telling him no. And I remember even trying to figure out how do you trick a man to get you, to get you pregnant. And I was like, I'm actually, in hindsight, I look back, I'd lost my mind a bit there. But I thank God he was the way he was, and we waited. So when the time came, was it like, because my second born now, Wendell, their birthdays are literally almost a month apart. It's a year and a month. So I did get First trial again. I got pregnant. Instead of excitement, fear. Because I started counting. I even had a calendar checking. Zoe came at 20-something weeks. So now I was counting. I marked it on the calendar. I was like, this is my goal. I need to get here and pass it.
Like that is the only thing you are looking forward to. Just passing
it. Remember the doctor I told you about, Dr. Owende? This woman, she understood
you're working with her
very closely. So she prepared me. She told me, okay, now that you're pregnant, this is what's going to happen. We'll see how you go through the first 3 months. You'll need to have a cervical stitch. We'll need to start giving you shots of progesterone every week in the beginning. In case you go to preterm, now we'll be more ready. She's even covering the things that was like, I didn't like that in case thing.
But it's good to have it because we've been there. We've walked down that road, so we cannot assume it.
Yeah. So I had to get the shots. But internally, if I saw any sort of discharge, she was on speed dial, middle of the night. There's a time I ran she was at Kenyatta. Mark took me in my PJs. At least they didn't look too PJ. But I couldn't change because of the fear. I had seen something and I was sure this baby's trying to come out. So she checked me. She told me, you're actually fine, Jean. You're fine. I want you to relax. Na. I had an encounter, which I also speak about, where God literally visited me somewhere. And he literally held me and he told me, do not be afraid. I am with you. And you see, I'd heard that voice in ICU. I knew it was him. I wept. Then I got to the week and I crossed over. Do you know that's when I started celebrating pregnancy?
After week 24?
After 25? Yeah, about 26th week. That's when it was almost the 27th. It was 26 weeks. She came at 26 weeks and 5 days. I crossed into the 27th week. Now I started enjoying the pregnancy. I was like, oh my God, we made it.
How it feels after.
But I was still very cautious, very, very cautious. Then when doc came, again, my cervix was trying to, so again, even that was dramatic. I had, what is it called? Postpartum hemorrhage. I was bleeding quite a bit after. But she came.
At week what? Full term?
37.
Oh, yeah.
37 weeks is okay. But even with that, I also learned there are things women need to be educated by their doctors about. Because again, I was feeling the nausea. I was peeing a lot. I was going for a checkup. Then she looked at me. I remember I told her I need to go to the loo again. By the time I came back, she told me, Jean, I have a feeling you're in labor. Then I told her, I looked at her, I was like, sorry, please lie down. So when she checked me, she said, yeah, your wife is in labor. So we're going to go. We remove the cervix. The stitch. Then I was transferred to the hospital that could, in case there was anything wrong. And I birthed this child and the baby came. Then with the third one, he tried to come out at the same gestation as Zoe.
25 weeks?
26 weeker. He tried.
Had you been stitched?
I had been stitched.
After month 3?
Yes. But I had a lot of pressure one morning. But just discomfort. And I learned, for me, with each pregnancy, I started understanding my body better. So I had a weird feeling, and then that feeling in my spirit, something feels off. So I went, and I was checked. His head was at the cervix ready to come out, and there was a contraction, like it had quamad above his head. So even on the scan, there was a part like this. So the contraction had stayed and it was not releasing. So my doctor comes in and she tells me, first the nurse was talking very badly. Oh, you should be in the hospital. No. Words are so powerful. So I've also learned to filter. We hear about gates. What do you watch? What do you see? These songs we teach children, oh, be careful, little ears, what you hear, or eyes, what you see. So this nurse was talking in a manner that I could feel anxiety trying to come up. I had to shut her off.
Okay.
I shut her off, and Mark told her to step aside.
Yeah.
Then our doctor came in, and she said, Jean, have you had breakfast today? I'm looking at her wondering, what does food have to do
with what I'm going
with what's
through
going on
now?
right now? They told me, I think, have you eaten? I said, no. Have you drunk enough water? I said, no. So this is what you're going to do. You're going to stand up. You're going to go, Mark, get her somewhere to eat. Let her eat to her fill properly, then come back. Jean, you're fine. This cervix is not opening. You're fine. There's another thing there's a way she has a faith walk as well. That's all I identified with her. And we walked out. I remember walking. I was almost walking with my...
The pillows. You almost told them, now bring the pillows again.
My legs together. I went and I ordered the biggest burger on the menu. I was told to eat. Nilikula. A burger, milkshake, and I carried a 1 liter bottle of water. Do you know by the time we went back, the boy had moved and the contraction had gone. And she told me, you need to feed yourself better. Yeah. So
Ninja.
sometimes contractions can be induced by hunger. I was like, what?
That is
But
deep.
even for me, that was a test because she was showing more faith than I claimed to have. Because I was like, what do you mean walk and eat?
Then you also had so much fear with this week, 26
Yes.
and 20.
Because you see now, that means there was a part of my mind I hadn't healed. I was still holding on to fear. And you see, fear and the love of God cannot coexist. I had just birthed love. My second born is called Wendell. And all the names of our children have been picked by God. And I kid you not. Because even with Zoe, we hadn't, 26 weeks, we've not really locked in names, but we had names floating. Her name spoke, Zoe Nzilani Mwongela. The life of God that came along the way to add. She did. Wendo, her name is Eliana Wendo Mwongela. Eliana means my God has answered. Eliana was an answer. She's the one who was used to receive the love of God again. And also to learn to love without fear and be an answer in my space. Aaron, hey, this ball of wind, of energy. He's Aaron Taraja. Because when he almost came out or threatened, I remember when I was lying on that bed before the doctor came, I told God, you have said, in case you have forgotten your own word, let me tell you your word. You have said you will not tempt me beyond what I can handle. So I'd like to remind you, just in case you forgot, I can't handle this.
Another
I'm just
one.
letting you know.
Yeah.
This one, this one we're not doing. But Lord, I told him, I'm going to hold on to hope. You've said that hope is the anchor of my soul. Okay, I'm going to hold on to that. Because this child, with him, he was kind of like a very sudden, he came very quickly after Wendell. Do you know when he was born, he said, that's their name. That's the name. And Aaron, the history of Aaron, if you look in scripture, Moses had been called to do this huge assignment, but he still didn't see himself accurately. I stammer, I'm not the right. God was like, no, since this guy hasn't gotten to where I need him to be,
Let me
I need to
get
send him help.
Yeah.
So Aaron was brought as a guarantee that this move of God would not fail. So Aaron came as that. There's a guarantee that he came that the choice I have made in you, Jean, your husband and your home, will not fail. But beyond that, he was an orator. There's a way I need your family to speak. So Aaron came as that because he's that cycle of, do I have it? Will he make it? Will I get to the finish line? When he was birthed, for me, it was like, God, your move has continued in my family. Your word does not fail. You told me to hold on to hope to the very end. It has actually held me and I'm here. So he's Aaron Taraja Mwongela. He's a voice piece and a guarantee of the move of God not failing, because as long as you hold on to hope as the anchor of your soul, you cannot fail. So for all the children in my that we birthed, God has been very deliberate about the power of a name. And it took Zoe understanding that. So for most of us, we're not going to go back and now start telling our folks, where is my name from? I want a name change. No, that's not what I'm saying. But it's going back to God and asking, who do you call me? What's your name for me? You've called me your daughter. What does that mean? Who are you as father? Teach me that. But it took this child and finding Zoe, because Zoe means the life of God.
Yeah.
The life of God. So it was the journey that started me on that journey of finding. Na haijaisha.
But you're
It's
finding.
a journey.
But you're
It's a
still
journey.
finding.
It's from level to level, from glory to glory.
For someone who is going to read this book, what would you expect? Amma, what is that one thing you can guarantee me I'll get out of this book?
That it's God-led. And by that I mean, it's authentic. It's spirit-led. It doesn't hide from the way God had me write this book, because I wrote this book in 12 days, a chapter a day. And as I read it, because it encourages me every day, I realized it shows both sides of the divide. It shows the weakness and the strength. So there's one thing people I know will experience, and I pray that they will see it and that it will encourage them, is that when God says that in our weakness, then his strength can be seen. Because if we look at in Corinthians, when Paul was saying, he was telling God, please take this thorn out of my flesh. Remove this thing from me. But God said, no. No. Actually, my strength is going to be made perfect in this because my grace is sufficient for you. This book is about God's grace. It's about the grace of God. And grace is that ability. It's this thing people call unmerited favor. It's the the ability of God to show who he is. It's his ability to get you beyond things that you can even ever think that you could fathom. Because as I went through this journey, I remember when I was editing this book before I published it, because I did not write this story to publish. We were living out of the country, and it was a journey God had me with him and had me on with him. And as I wrote it, I remember I finished and I closed my laptop and I said, okay, it's done. That was quite a journey.
In 12 days,
in
or
12
when you
days.
started?
In 12 days, because I wrote it, I got the instruction on my birthday, June 18th, 2024. We were living in Singapore at the time. I used to walk a lot. So as I was walking, he tells me, okay, it's now time to write that book. Because I'd known that I would write a book eventually. I wasn't sure when. And then I was told writing books takes 2 years. 2 years. So the thought of writing, I prefer talking, if you can tell by now. You don't think about the colon and the semicolon and when one is different.
Yeah.
And the M dash and using it too
Punctuation.
much, or the dash, So by the time I wrote it, I knew it was God. So every day I woke up, Celestine, I kid you not, the words were pouring out. Chapter 1, he told me on June 30th, we start tomorrow. And he woke me up 4:38 a.m., July 1st, 2024. I woke up and I couldn't sleep. He said, get up, let's go to the computer. So I woke up and I went to the computer. And I sat and I just started. And the words were just flowing. So chapter 1, July 1st. By July 12th, 9 something
chapters.
p.m., last period, and the book was done. In 12 days, something I thought absolutely impossible. God was also showing me when you follow his word, that's why I told you to walk by faith, by every word. It comes with a grace. It comes with that enablement to do that which he has called you. That's why if you're out of step with God, itakuja na with a lot of effort.
Force.
And So if there's one thing people will experience with this thing is understanding that God can use you at your weakest point to show himself strong. It will also encourage people to understand that Romans 8:28 is true. Your past, present, and future. If you yield it to God, God can use it all to teach and preach his word if people want to use that. It will show families that, especially for the woman, and these definitions that we've given women and try to orchestrate how their lives should go, please can we start defining people by who God says they are? So in the same way, at least for me, I thank God in our family, like now understanding who my children are has helped me know how to raise them each differently. But that also works with, as I interact with you, when I learned the power of your name, Celestine, and it's connected to the sky and the heavens, there's a way I came here today to speak with you. When I interact with my mother or someone on the street, because it's easy to judge by what we see.
Yeah.
Very easy to judge by what we see. But if we can ask God, who is that person? And he gives you a definition of that. So let's say you have a Rela who is such a drunk. Let's use that way. Like, huyo amepita. In fact, there's no coming back from where he is. But God is telling you, he's actually my preacher man. I'm going to use him in the next 2 years. Just walk with him. But you're telling God, no, I think you have it wrong. But if God has given you a word about someone, could we please just go according to that? So for me, coming on this platform I come as Mama Zoe, very boldly now. I didn't understand the magnitude of that name. But to be the mother of life means I can only bring forth what God desires. And that's my desire. I'm not saying I don't miss it sometimes. But now the beauty of grace is I'm able to catch it faster. And instead of condemnation, going like, okay, now look, I've missed it again. Look at what I've done again, God. Now it shifts to conviction. God, I'm still struggling here. But you said your grace is sufficient. How do we deal with this thing? If he gives a word, I follow it. If he doesn't, I wait. Don't move until he gives you a word. So my prayer is that as people interact with the book, because it's called Finding Zoe, it's finding the life of God. And even once you find it, hakuna kufika. Anytime you think umefika,
keep finding it.
Please raise alarm bells to heaven and tell him, Lord, please help me. Because anytime you think you've got it, that's when you chill. That's when you think, I'm good.
Tumekuwa mabishte
Nimefika.
now.
But we're told in scripture, I think it's in Corinthians, is it Corinthians, 2 Corinthians, take heed when you think you stand, lest you fall. When you think you've got it together, that's when you need to ask God, okay, Lord, where am I at with you? Because that's when self-confidence, self-righteousness, me, myself, and I comes in.
Becomes you now.
It's you. And you
Yeah,
forget
you're
the
centered.
one.
Yeah.
So it's a walk. So find Zoe and then continue walking. It's from glory to glory. Hakuna kufika until he comes back for us.
There's a woman out there who is maybe now in those 63 days that you are in.
Yes.
There's a woman right now who is saying, this is my first time. And you are so young. You are 26, 27. There's a woman who is saying, will I get to a position where Jane has gotten to? Like, she's talking without shedding even a tear. Like, is it really her who went through this story, ama ni mtu mwingine? How can you encourage such a woman?
I did shed a tear. In fact, many. So number one is to tell them that I've been there. I was there. Broken, feeling defeated. So I don't shy away from that broken state. My word to you is God is real, even where you are. And I know many people may come to you with words that don't come from Him immediately, because I remember when people would speak to me and tell me, it is well.
What is well here?
The thing is, spiritually, it is well. Spiritually, it is well. So the spirit fast and the flesh catching up can take some time. My prayer is that by hearing me and understanding that it took a journey of finding God, may this story save you the many years it took me to get there. May you start seeking Him, asking Him, Lord, why is this happening? If you're broken and you're in pain, don't fake it. And then engage the Holy Spirit. Because growing up, we heard a lot about God and Jesus, but it's three: the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. The Father, He's a good, good Father. He's Alpha and Omega. He knows your script from beginning to end. So this thing that has happened, if you're in that space, does not mean that He's in heaven going like, wow, 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 angel so-and-so, how did this happen? No. Meaning He has entrusted you with this journey, even if you don't understand it right now. And then Jesus Christ, who went before us, showing us that He partook of suffering and He got to the other side because He held on to a joy that was set before Him. He held on to that picture. So you've never asked God of a picture of who you are. Let this be the challenge to ask God, who am I in you? There's what society has called me. There's what, whether jobs or no lack of job, marriage or lack of marriage, whether it's divorcee or widowed, child or childless. There's so many definitions of the world, but we forget the one who created us. Just like Christ knew who He was and He kept connecting to the Father to push on for that picture, start asking God who you are. He speaks. He does speak. Thirdly, the Holy Spirit. And this one, I believe, is the most important one in our time, if I can put it that way. Because when Christ died, before He left, He said, I'm not going to leave you guys as orphans because you're going to need help. If Christ Himself could tell us that He knew would need help, could we please hold on to the help that He sent us? Right? The Holy Spirit is called a guardian. He's called a guarantee. He's called your defender. He's the one who searches the heart of man deeper than we know ourselves. So sometimes we think we know ourselves, but even right now in the pain that some may be going through, He's the only one who can search and pray. We're even told that He can pray in groans and moans that we can't understand. It's real. I have experienced it, and it's a journey. So start engaging the Holy Spirit for help. Ask Him to search you and to help you to find God. Because once you're anchored on that truth, no matter what is brought your way, you will not fall. And we need to start believing that we cannot fail. God Himself has given us a guarantee in His Spirit that we cannot fail, but we need to build a relationship with Him. So beyond that, as I've talked about this Father, Son, and Spirit, the main thing I'd say is build a relationship with God. Because growing up, many of us knew religion. And religion, fact, and I know some people may not like this, it's divided a lot of us. So even with the factions in churches, some thinking they're better than the others. When God said that He built a body of that we are the body of Christ, it didn't have the different denominations. It's one body. It's one body. And to build relationship means that you're hearing let's say, Celestine, when we were dating, whether we're dating or when you have a best friend and you're hanging out, when you have your tea hangouts and stuff, the person talks,
Then you talk.
and then you talk.
Yeah,
so there's
you
that
respond.
listening back and forth. God is not this guy that you run to only when you have a crisis.
You talk.
Then you just leave the room.
You must listen as well. Yeah.
So and so has left the room. Yeah. Build a relationship with God. He's real and He desires to build a relationship with each and every one of us, no matter the circumstance. And I pray that God will also surround you with an army, the accurate friendship. So don't be afraid to let go of things, places, people in different seasons. God is real. He's so real. And bottom line is He loves you even in this season that you're in.
Thank you so much. Thank you even for taking time to write the book, taking time to share your journey. I know you've said it has taken you 12 years for you to even find these words and for you even to understand it and for you even to just sit and see and understand what was happening all this time. And I believe that this book is going to be a blessing to so many, including me. So many. So many. So maybe where can we find the book in case someone wants to get a copy?
So Finding Zoe is stocked at Nuria Bookstore. Nuria Bookstore, so you can place an order there. For those in the diaspora, it's now on Amazon in both Kindle version and also paperback if you'd like to print it. So that's where you can get it. And I guess I was published by Majesty Publishing House Africa, which is run by one of my sisters. So we can also get that to you if you'd like to reach that. But the fastest way is Nuria Bookstore and Amazon for those who would like to get a copy online.
Thank you so much. I believe it's going to be a blessing to you. Someone who is watching, who is interested, please, once you read it, tuachie comment, tuambie, give us feedback. We love feedback. And thank you so much. In case they wanted to reach out to you, do you have social media pages?
Oh, yeah.
Like, in case I'm thinking there are women who want to call you somewhere, just go and encourage some fellow women.
Okay.
How can they reach you?
So there's no line yet, but you can reach me on Instagram, Jean Mwongela.
I'll put it.
I think they'll be put there. Yeah. So I'm on Facebook. Facebook, but not active. But yes, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn as well. Under Jean Mwongela.
Okay. And thank you so much, Jean. Thank you
Celestine,
so
for
much.
Having me.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much to our viewers. I hope you've learned a thing or two. Ama, you've enjoyed the show. Until next week, kwaherini sana sana sana.